Good morning from the great empire state of New York. Welcome to the Beehive. We're live for the second time. It went pretty well last week. And thank you for viewing after the fact. I didn't have any live viewers at the time, but this week I want to talk and discuss about worker bees. I'm absolutely fascinated by honeybees and that the way the whole society of honeybees or a colony of bees work. Worker bees live to be about 6 weeks old. What, six times seven, 42 days. That's it. It's unbelievable. But their lives are divided in two parts. Their first part of their life is as nurse bees or house bees. That's the first 3 weeks of their life spent basically inside the colony. And then the second week or the second half of their life, the last 3 weeks or so, they're spent as foragers, gathering nectar and pollen. But during the first 3 weeks of their lives, there's specific roles that they take on that fascinate me. Again, I've said this a number of times. A honeybee hive or a honeybee colony is one of the most sanitary environments found in nature. But they have roles. When a baby bee or a newbie, a baby bee is born, one of the first responsibilities that they have is to clean out their own cell that they just hatched from. And they're hungry too when they are born, so they're ready to eat some definite honey. But I took some notes here. Um, the first 3 days to 16 days of their life, and this is one fascinates me. They are undertakers. They're mortuary specialists in a colony of bees. They remove dead bees from the colony. If they happen to die inside the hive, they'll drag the honeybee bodies out. And also, if they have any dead larvae, they'll actually clean out the larva cells and discard of that just outside of the colony. And it's just fascinating to me. That way they don't contaminate their brood or honey stores. Also, and they do that from like day 3. Day 4, they might graduate to feeding the drone bees, the male bees. When their drone bees are first born, they don't even know how to feed themselves. So the worker bees do it for them, but eventually the drone bees do learn to feed themselves. On day 7 of a honeybee's life, they could look forward to tending to the royalty of the hive, tending to the queen, basically cleaning her, primping her, cleaning up after her, and making sure she's doing her job. Queen attendance, it's called. Actually, I've seen pictures. I in person. I have seen it when I've gotten into a colony, but I've never gotten video of it, and I'm going to get a video of it one day. Is the retinue of honeybees, where the honeybees literally circle the queen, cleaning her off and making sure she's doing good, feeding her. And then day 12 of a house bee, they would start packing pollen. Bees make what's called bee bread, and they store it in their cells, and it's fed to larvae, worker bees, larvae that aren't going to be queens. And it's called bee bread, and they're packing pollen. Whenever I see pollen bee bread in a frame, I call it pollen pack, but that's just me. Oh, look, there's a bunch of pollen pack there. On day 12 of a honeybee's life, they could be expected to seal off the honey supers, meaning seal it off with wax, seal off the cells with wax. Once the honey is at the right moisture content, honeybees will then seal it off with a capping of wax, which is pretty fascinating. When bees hit 12 years old, or 12 years, well, to them, it's probably 12 years old. But when they hit 12 days old, they'll graduate to honeycomb building. They have wax glands underneath their abdomen that produces wax, and they're able to make it malleable and form it into the honeycomb that we see in there. They also become water carriers. Water is extremely important to honeybees. They cannot live without honey, or they cannot live without water. That is for sure. They drink tons and tons of water. And day 18, as we start to approach foraging in their life, they become guard bees, which they sit on their front porch. I call it their front porch, but they're at the entrance to their colony. And they watch out for robbers and any other bee or insect or rodent or something they're on guard waiting for them so that they can alleviate damage to their hive. And then beginning on day 22, roughly 22, honeybees will become foragers and then going out getting nectar and pollen until basically they die. It just fascinates me, the role of a worker bee, all females, girl power, how a honeybee hive operates. They're programmed and designed to do exactly what they do. Well, that's about it for this week. Live from the beehive. We'll catch you next Sunday. Hopefully, I'm going to try a system where it's called OBS, Open Broadcast System, I think it's called. But it's an open broadcaster software where I can put up slides and things like that, and maybe improve the live experience a little bit more. So, as always, life is good on the bee side.